just because I'm almost a half a century years old. My eyes, the avatar, is, wearing off. So, okay, 1 Corinthians 13:4-8. Love is patient. Love is kind. It doesn't envy. It doesn't boast. It's not proud. It's not rude. It's not self-seeking. It's not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love doesn't delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. Do you know what that means? I'll finish. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. Now, we see but a poor reflection, as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Such a beautiful, 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 beautiful passage. So beautiful. And so, let me kind of break it down for you. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, and it does not boast. And it is not proud. In other words, it's not narcissistic, okay? It's not jealous of you. It's not in competition with you. These are red flags, okay? It's not boastful, it's not proud, like, oh, check out my this and check out my that and all of this other stuff, and I do this stuff for you all the time, and no, doesn't do that. It's not rude, and it's not self-seeking, because So love is patient, love is kind, love is humble. It doesn't dishonor others. It's not rude to others. It's not self-seeking. It's not selfish at all, okay? It's not easily angered. And why is it not easily angered? Because there's patience. Patience, in order to be patient, there is an understanding that needs to be present. And if you cannot achieve that understanding, there needs to be curiosity present in order for understanding to occur. Love keeps no record of wrongs. It doesn't hold grudges, right? Love does not delight in evil. So it doesn't want to see you suffer. It doesn't do the things that make you suffer. And that's not love, to make you suffer. But also, it rejoices with the truth. So that part is what we are missing, or what I was missing my whole life. If you're a people pleaser, if you're self-sacrificing in the name of love, and I say people pleasing because I hate that word, people pleasing. It's not people pleasing, it's just you love and you treat others how you want to be treated. That's all it is. At least that's for me. And I'm sure if I'm talking with you, I'm reaching out to you myself, fam. And if you resonate with this, like, seriously, right? It's not people pleasing, it's just treating people how you want to be treated. I think we've forgotten that. This world has forgotten that. Or at least my world has forgotten that. But I did it sacrificially. Like, I would sacrifice myself to show people that they are loved. In the Bible, if this is what you follow, it says very clearly, it rejoices with the truth. And what is the truth? You are the truth. Yourself, your truth. What is your truth? What is your truth? It rejoices with that. And your truth is you, the very essence of you. That's not what I wanted to say, but that's what I'm gonna just keep it. But your truth, it rejoices in truth. It has boundaries to protect your truth. Yeah? I don't know if that makes any sense, but I never knew boundaries either. I never knew boundaries. And I thought love is boundaryless, because that is how I was trained. I want to say trained because that's not love. How you raise a child. I was trained. And this is not said with, I want to just make it very factual. I have no, I don't have any grudge against my mother. I've forgiven my mother. I love my mother, and I understand why she did the things that she did. Or I could actually empathize and see why she did the things that she did. So it's not something she did to me. It was a circumstance I was in, and I just happened to be a tool for her. Misused, okay? Not discounting that. It was definitely misused. I shouldn't have been used, right? But that was my reality. And the thing is, I can't go back and change it. And if she admits to it, or if she apologizes, it still doesn't change anything. And I have to accept that that was what was supposed to happen in order for me to come to this level of understanding. All of those sequence of events had to occur in order for me to be where I'm at right now, with the level of understanding and the level of empathy for you. Because if I didn't go through those things, I wouldn't be able to understand differently than the norm. I wouldn't be able to communicate with you. So it had to happen. In order for me to understand your language. An unfortunate language, but there needs to be balance. So you have to find the balance. You have to find the balance in it all. And here it talks about not delighting in evil, but rejoices in truth. There's so many layers to that. It doesn't delight in evil. But that doesn't mean love is self-sacrificing. Doesn't mean that love doesn't stand for justice, doesn't stand for, no, that is love also. Love sets up boundaries. It's for the truth, and you need to protect the truth, right? With boundaries, and you are the truth, and you need boundaries, okay? It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Doesn't give up. I can see someone warping this into some kind of like, and I'm saying like some kind of like weird thing where it's like, like an obsession, but it's not an obsession, okay? So don't get obsessive. It always protects, yes. It always trusts. That's what prevents this from being obsession, okay? It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. And always perseveres. It has to have faith and trust. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. So, where there are prophecies, love will cease. If it becomes predictable, if love becomes predictable, it will cease, right? But also, if there are prophecies, like if you I had this yesterday. Let me see. If it becomes expected, that's what it is. If it's prophesized, it will cease. If it not only becomes predictable, right? That's a recipe for disaster when your love becomes predictable. Not saying unpredictability is something like, oh, surprising love all the time. That'd be, but if it's taken for granted, if it becomes expected and taken for granted, it will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Meaning, it's not going to talk about you or your flaws. Love is a safe place. It's your safe space within love, right? Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. If it's not egotistical, it's not egoistical, whatever one it is. I don't know. Egoist, egoistical. If you are all mental and zero heart, if you're all mental, no. Think about all the things that require mental versus heart. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. So, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. We know we're loved, right? Because of the acts that are shown. And that's in part. And we prophesy, we have faith in part, but when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. So you can't be halfway in love. Because if there is a half, the completeness of love, it doesn't work. This interpretation is very, can be misunderstood. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. I said this earlier, children are the template. Love like a child. Love the way a child loves. That is love. Love. A child's love is without expectations, without transaction. So, when I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. It's not, I was a child back then, now I'm a man. And oh. what we're left with is just our own reflection, like in a mirror. Alone. Then we shall see face to face. This is where you gotta do your shadow work. Come face to face with yourself. Yourselves. When I say yourselves, they are the parts of you in that moment that you experienced shame and hid in a corner where there is a shadow to cover you. All of your shame you need to bring out, and you need to confront, and you need to love. Now I know in part, okay, all the different elements, all the different parts of yourself. Then I shall know fully. Even as I am fully known. So you are going to have to study your reflection. Your reflection carries all of your shadows. You are going to have to study your reflection. That is so... We walk around reflecting our shadows, our shame. And we seek what we want to reflect. But in seeking out your shadows, in your shame, and facing your reflection, you will heal yourself so that you are fully known, fully accepted once you have accomplished meeting your shadows and loving your shadows. Not loving your shame, right? And loving your shame, no. Understanding. Okay, so you're going to have to go in. I'm trying to explain this in another way so it doesn't sound so, ooh, shadows, what is that? But go deep and understand the different areas of shame that you contain, that you hold in your heart, behind cavernous, behind crevices that cast shadows in your heart. Go to those moments, go back in your memory and try to realize why you felt ashamed. And then be yourself to your child self or your past self, however you want. I say child self, but comfort your child self and let them know it's okay, but find a better way forward with your child self or your past self. Or confront your shame, understand the reason why you felt shame, and then come up with a plan on how to do it differently the next time. Yeah. Faith, hope, and love. I was just thinking, I don't even know what I would title this. I don't even know if this even makes sense. But at the same time, this is supposed to go the way that it's supposed to go. It didn't have any kind of flow. It was not scripted, and I just needed to get this out there for you. As messy as it is, I hope you find value in it. I hope it has brought you some peace or some way forward. I appreciate your time, and I hope I have made it worth it for you. I would like to continue this symbiosis, this symbiotic relationship. So I hope to see you again. Make it an amazing day. I haven't organized my bathroom closet, by the way. I needed to confess. But I'm gonna do that today. I did a lot of other things, but I just didn't do my bathroom closet. I'm gonna do it today. I'll even record it. Ooh. Make it an amazing day. You're not alone. And you are loved. You really are. I love you. And I don't even know you. Mama just told me, get this out there for this person. Let them know how much they are loved. You are loved. Absolutely. Completely. Make it an amazing day.